I like to think that I've gotten pretty good at doing flips over the years. I mean, it is kind of my thing, but after noticing how much of my camera roll is taken by flip videos, I realized that I'm honestly not too good at anything else. Which is why
I've created a list of 8 different skills that I have no idea how to do. And for the next 8 hours, I have to learn how to do all 8 of these skills, or else I have to jump into this freezing cold pond.
And trust me when I say I really don't want to do that. So, moving right into the first activity on the checklist.
Jump roping. I feel so dumb doing that.
More specifically, I'm gonna be trying a trick called a triple under, which is basically just having the jump rope pass under your feet 3 times in only 1 jump.
Okay, starting the 8-hour timer, if I can figure out how to do that. Okay, timer is started right now. Okay, I'm just gonna get myself warmed up first because it is like 8 in the morning and I have not done anything yet, so here we go. Boom. Dude, why are my legs already hurting? Oh, ow! Dude, that whipped me in the butt so hard.
As you can tell, this was already going fantastically, and it just continued to go that way for the next several minutes.
Ow! I should have wore pants. Ow, dude. I'm gonna have lashes all over me.
After quite a bit of struggling, I did eventually manage to do the first double, which gave me way too much confidence.
I'm just gonna go for a triple.
My first actual attempt was decently close, which made me think that I was going to get this pretty quickly.
I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this so fast too.
But I was so wrong. I kept trying the same thing over and over again until I realized that something needed to change. I tried multiple different strategies, such as trying to go as fast as possible, which didn't work.
So for 8 skills in 8 hours, I basically have to average learning a new skill every single hour, and we're already halfway done with the first hour, and I feel like I'm not even close.
I then tried to jump as high as I possibly could, which also didn't work. I eventually landed on the idea of shortening the rope a little bit to make it a little bit faster, which honestly felt pretty promising.
Yeah, definitely the shorter the better.
What do you mean by that?
By this point, I was already so exhausted.
I gotta lay down.
My legs felt like they were on fire from jumping as well as being whipped constantly.
Don't underestimate how exhausting jump roping is.
But after a quick water break, I was ready to keep trying.
Oh, dude, I'm actually so close. I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna jump as high as I possibly can. I did it! No way! Finally! On to the next activity.
So, moving right into it.
So the last, oh, I forgot. I was gonna say the last event, but it's not, this is not track and field. So the last skill ended up taking about 40 minutes, which is perfect because that gives me 20 extra minutes for the next one, which is juggling 3 balls. I've never opened a pack of tennis balls before, but I heard that recently they added a little more psst to it.
Once I got the balls open and out of the package, I instantly began trying to juggle them with no guidance. As you can see, I'm kind of just throwing the balls around and hoping for the best, which wasn't really working.
I don't really know if this is the right way to do it. I haven't really looked up how to do it yet, but I guess this is what I'm gonna try.
I tried this method for quite a while, but my attempts weren't getting any better. In fact, they were getting worse and worse every time for some reason.
No, I dropped the first one.
So I decided to cave in and watch a tutorial, which very quickly showed me exactly what I was doing wrong.
So the video I found says to start with 2 balls, which is actually a lot smarter. I don't know why I decided to start with 3, but he said something like this. Boom. Whoops. Okay, I just need to get that down.
So I continued practicing with 2 balls until I managed to get super consistent with it. At some point, I was literally just rapid firing them, so I decided to move on to 3 balls.
Oh, nope, I forgot to throw the other one.
After only 2 attempts, I was able to get the movement down for 3 balls, but I was only halfway to the goal. After some research, I learned that this is called a run of 3. As you can see, I threw 3 times and caught 3 times. But for it to count as a juggle, I needed to complete a run of 6, which would end up with 2 balls in my right hand and 1 ball in my left.
Nice. I'm gonna try and keep throwing it now.
It was very difficult to keep the momentum going at first, but very slowly, attempt after attempt, I started to get more coordinated. Eventually, to where I was getting it, but only missing the catch on the very last ball.
No! That would have been it! I missed the catch, no!
This happened so many times and was very infuriating.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I would have caught that, that would have been it.
After almost an hour of constant failure, eventually this happened.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom! I'm pretty sure I just did it, but I still have to rewatch that.
The footage was analyzed, and it turned out that I did, in fact, do a run of 6, therefore successfully completing this skill.
According to the timer, right now, we are 15 minutes ahead of schedule, so I have a little bit of time to set up the next activity.
Which didn't really take that much time because all I had to do was get out my scooter.
I bet you can't find me. I'm hiding, I bet you can't find me. Okay, so for the next activity, obviously I have a scooter and I'm gonna be learning a trick on it called a tail whip. If you don't know what that is, I'll show a video right here.
I really have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to anything scooter related, but I did know that this trick was not going to be easy. So to prevent any more time from being wasted, I decided to just get right into trying the trick. Yep, that's what attempt number 1 looked like. So I have quite a bit of learning to do before I can land this.
I just need to find a way to kick this around, boom. So if I jump, and in the air, kick it. Maybe.
As you can see, I kind of already understood what needed to happen. I just needed to figure out how to make it happen.
Nope. Ooh.
I managed to have a few attempts to where I had a good start, but just couldn't get it all the way around. Until I got this one, where it ended up doing a full rotation.
That was actually so close.
That's when I told myself,
I'm getting it figured out.
But for the next 30 minutes, I tried and tried to replicate the one good attempt that I had, but it just never seemed to happen. Now that I'm watching back through the footage, I see the endless amount of attempts that I gave this trick, but luckily for you, I'm not gonna make you watch them all. At one point, I decided that it was best for me to take a quick break and cool off. But after this break, I came back better than ever. I was having such close attempts like this one and this one, where I got one foot back on the scooter, but eventually this happened.
Okay, should I count that?
I did end up deciding to accept that attempt because I simply just couldn't do it anymore. You can literally see the exhaustion on my face. But luckily, I get a nice break now because for the next skill, we have to do some traveling. We stopped to get some food, then quickly got back to the challenge.
We have arrived at the new location. Lunch and traveling took about 30 minutes, so subtract that from the clock. And for the 4th skill of this video, I have to do a 15-second handstand. I don't even think I've ever gotten close to this before. Here we go.
I have practiced handstands before, but was never that great at them, which is why I wanted to do them today. But somehow, my second attempt looked like this.
Was that it? 13 seconds, no. Oh, that was the longest handstand I've ever done in my life.
I managed to stay up for 13 seconds, which is only 2 seconds away from the goal.
No!
To keep my arms from getting too tired, I had to take a short break in between each attempt. Also, as you can see, I have no idea how to stay in one spot or how to keep my legs straight, which kind of makes these handstands look a little goofy, but I don't really care. The only thing I'm really focusing on is trying to get it to 15 seconds.
Is that it? No! 13 seconds again. There was like a soft spot like right here and I like fell in it. I don't even know what attempt I'm on anymore. I'm just gonna keep spamming them. No! What was that, 11? Dude, I'm doing way better than I thought.
I kept consistently getting to the 10 to 13 second range, which is super close, so I eventually decided...
Here we go, I'm gonna lock in.
My arms were getting so tired and I didn't know how many more attempts I had in me. So I told myself that I was going to try my absolute hardest on this attempt. And that's exactly what I did. I just kept pushing and pushing no matter how much my arms wanted to give out.
That has to be it.
You did it.
Yes, I did it. I was pushing it so hard, I didn't even care about landing on my feet. Dude, look at that. Look at that leg. That one only took like 15 minutes and I already got it done. So now we're moving on to the next one.
Which just so happens to be the one that I am most excited about. I don't really remember why I filmed this clip, I guess to show that we're heading to a new location, but I didn't even drive the car, I actually ended up riding my bike there, which only took about 5 minutes.
Wow. And for the next skill, I decided that I've always wanted to learn a wheelie on a bike. This may be cheating because it's an e-bike, but it's still kind of the same thing. So I'm gonna learn a wheelie for 10 feet.
The first thing I needed to do was measure out a 10-foot area and mark the distance with some chalk. While I was getting everything ready, my cameraman got this really cool shot of me.
Basically, the goal is to pull the front tire off of the ground before the first line and, oh, let me carry it. And then my back tire has to pass this line before my front tire hits the ground. Here we go.
I've pretty much ridden bikes my entire life, so I had the advantage of starting with the knowledge of how bike physics work. Holding a wheelie though is so much different than anything I've done before. It only took me a few attempts to realize that the front tire was really heavy and quite difficult to pull up off the ground.
It's gonna be kind of difficult because this front tire is so heavy. I have to like pull up so hard. Nope.
That was until I noticed that I could really be utilizing the suspension to my advantage.
That was close.
If I push down, then pull up, the suspension does half of the work for me.
I think I'm gonna like bounce on my suspension maybe and pull up. Oh, okay. That's definitely gonna be the strategy.
After this discovery, every attempt seemed to just get better and better.
No! This is fun because it's like not exhausting. This is a nice break.
Eventually, I was just consistently getting to the point where I was only a foot or two off until I had this attempt.
Was that it? I think I let down right as my back tire was on it.
Which is exactly what happened. After that, only a few attempts later, and this happened.
That had to have been it. I know for a fact that was it. I feel like I went way over.
I was so happy, so I did some celebratory circles, then wheelied all the way home to prepare for the next skill.
For this skill, I'm really slowing it down because I'm gonna sit here for the next however long it takes and learn how to spin this pencil in my hand like this. I found out that this is actually a pretty big thing on TikTok and there's a whole bunch of different tricks that I can try. I'm gonna just try and learn one of them.
Before I could even start, I needed to find what specific trick I wanted to try. After some scrolling, I eventually landed on this one that I thought looked really cool.
I feel like this would like actually be something fun to be good at. You could just like do this at all times.
I got started, and to be honest, I felt really awkward doing this. I was basically just sitting in front of the camera, playing with a pencil in complete silence while talking to myself every once in a while. I decided that I didn't want to make you sit and watch me do this for too long, so I'm just gonna give you a quick recap. Here we go. I basically sat here and tried to understand this trick for about 25 minutes because I really wanted to get it, but I made zero progress. I then chose to abandon that trick and try a different one, which looked a little easier in hopes of actually getting somewhere. I sat here for a long time trying this one and was actually making some progress, but to be totally honest, I was bored out of my mind. I could see this being fun if I were fidgeting, but not if I strictly sat and focused on it for too long. I genuinely felt like I was losing my mind, so much so that I found this clip of me doing the worm. I don't even remember doing this. Anyway, after following the tutorial and sitting in silence for way too long, I noticed that every video I saw, they had these weighted baton looking items instead of an actual pencil or pen, which I just assumed made it a lot easier, or else why would they even be using it? But that's when I decided,
technically, I am spinning this pencil, which was the whole goal of this skill. I call that a success. Let's go to the next challenge.
I don't think I've ever been this excited to see the outdoors in my entire life, which works out perfectly because for the next skill, I'll be learning it in nature.
For this skill, all I want to do is learn how to use this. This is a cast net. You like throw it into the water and it like makes a circle. I'll just show you a video of what is supposed to happen. For me to truly show that I learned how to use this, I have to catch one fish. I'm just gonna get started.
I was pretty much starting off without any knowledge of how this worked, so I just wanted to try and throw it to see what happens.
That did not do anything close to what I wanted it to do.
It didn't even open up at all, but I wanted to try again to see if I could do any better, and I didn't.
Never know, there could be a fish in there. Probably not though.
I then began experimenting with different ways to throw it in hopes of getting the net to open up in the air.
Not even close. Did you see that? Fish just jumped right here.
I wasn't having any luck, but it was definitely way better than my first throw, except for this one where I got it stuck in a tree.
No!
So I took several minutes getting that undone, but after that, I came to the realization that I needed to spin the net as much as possible to get the weights to spread apart. By realization, I mean I looked up a tutorial, which really opened my eyes. I tried a completely new strategy, and it actually worked, and I was able to replicate it a few times as well. Now, I just needed to fish. I made my way across the creek to an area that I hadn't disturbed yet.
Oh, the water's really cold. The water is so cold. I'm thinking that since this is across the stream, nobody comes over here. So like the bigger fish are gonna be over here, I think.
And literally on the first throw over there, this happened.
Okay, that was a decent but small throw. Here we go, fish. Fish, any fish? I got a fish! Like an actual good fish. Okay, I'm bringing it. He should stay in there. Hurry, gotta hurry, gotta hurry. Fish is almost here. Okay, he's in here. There it is. There's my fish. Don't know what kind of fish that is. It's a very pretty one. Okay, we're gonna let him go.
Because I have one more skill to learn and I needed to get moving fast.
We're on the way to the last challenge right now. The only problem is, by the time we get there, we'll only have like 30 minutes left of the 8-hour timer, so we gotta get there and get it done fast.
I drove like my life depended on it. I've come way too far to give up now. Which reminds me, if you've made it this far into the video, I'm just gonna assume that you are enjoying it. So just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I promise you won't regret it.
Okay, 33 minutes on the clock. Let's go. So for the final skill to learn for this video, all I have to do is kick a simple field goal. Should be pretty easy, right? How far away is a field goal? I'm just gonna go really far away and just say that's a field goal.
I got the ball set up for the first attempt. I've never tried this before, so I really had no idea how difficult this was going to be.
No! Oh gosh.
By the looks of that first attempt though, it's going to be a lot harder than I initially thought. So I got straight into attempt number 2.
Where's the thingy? I don't know where the thingy is. Here it is. Right back to attempt number 2. Here we go, I gotta get under that ball. What? No! I got the height, just not the distance.
And number 3.
My legs are already burning. An exhausting day. No!
And number 4.
No! That was so close. No!
It's like I couldn't decide whether I wanted enough distance or enough height. But when I had both of them, I just couldn't aim.
I think I had the distance, just not the aim.
I was putting in that work running back and forth to get the ball though, and I was exhausted. With about 10 minutes left on the clock, I had this attempt.
There it is! No! It hit the post!
This just felt like a huge kick to the stomach. I didn't let that stop me from grinding out this challenge though. Attempt after attempt. Kick after kick. I just kept pushing and pushing. This whole 8-hour challenge has taught me that I can achieve anything that I set my mind to. And I knew that it all relied on me kicking this ball through that goal. That's when I told myself,
I'm gonna go so hard. Okay, here we go. Oh. Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh, I did it! Yes! Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Where's the timer? Timer, 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 timer. Timer. 3 minutes on the clock, there we go, that's challenge complete, high five.
if you couldn't already tell, I was so happy to finally complete this entire 8-hour challenge that I couldn't even stand up anymore. I now realize how rewarding it is to just get out there and learn something new. Who knows, anything could become a new hobby or passion that could completely change your life.
I'm just so glad that I was able to complete all 8 of these challenges in under 8 hours, so I do not have to jump in this pond.
Hold up! Remember all the way back from skill number 3 where I was learning a tail whip on my scooter and accepted a bad one purely out of defeat? Well,